Hello everyone. I am Rebecca from ChemKnits and I'm going to do an audio check. I just have to wait for my song to finish playing. And I need to pop out the chat and make this so I can see. Hello everyone. Okay, a little loud. I am Rebecca from ChemKnits and I'm going to do... I was like, I wish I could change the size of the chat so I could see it better. I don't know if my eyes are like starting to get worse, or I think it's more likely because outside is bright, very sunny, and then I have a light right there. So I think it just makes it a little harder for me to read the tiny text from over here. But I have my iPad. And actually I can move this to where I can see it a little bit better. Okay, so then I can check for the chat. But hi everyone, I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and today we're going to spin some yarn. And I don't know how far we'll get, but we're going to ply this yarn, which actually, here we go. You can see this is the pretty yarn we've been spinning over the last several live streams. There is a whole Dying to Spin playlist, which should be in the video description. If it's not, please let me know so then I can add it. But there is a playlist on the channel. And in there, you can watch me in live streams dye this, dye the fiber, and then we prepped the wheel to get back on the horse to spin again. And yeah, we've spun the singles over multiple episodes. So now we're finally ready to start plying it. Happy Friday. Ooh, shoebox dyeing some fiber. Yeah, I was like, ooh, I wonder if I'll have time to dye things today. I'm very excited. Okay, what did I need to do? I think this one is an old one, but let me play just sort of a little recap. Wait, why did that not show up? Would help if I could hear what was happening. Let's see if I make that visual, I don't see it. So that's why I'm like confused. Okay, let's find a different spinning short. Videos. I'm like leaning really close because I'm so far from the computer. Spinning. Oh, the uploaded ones. Okay. I think that this is the one that was the trailer for today. Let me see. It'll probably start. Hopefully it won't be too loud.
Have you ever let a project hibernate for way too long? Well, I am thrilled that I finally finished spinning the singles for my Dying to Spin project I had been doing on live streams, started last summer. It hibernated for so long not because of the work things and the big editing projects I had to do, not because, well, partially probably because of the back injury that I'm now pretty recovered from, but it was because I had said I'm going to finish spinning these singles off camera. And I did some spinning, and then it hibernated. And so that was what kept me from finishing that. And so now I'm so excited. We have 2 bobbins full, 200 grams of this fiber I dyed, ready to go.
I think I showed
and now I just get to ply it. My plan is to do a 2-ply yarn, and so hopefully we'll do that soon.
Oh, no, I guess I did not show the dyeing of it. That's fine. I was like, but that's sort of where we were to get to here. I dyed this fiber, and I have that whole thing filmed. It will be... Where are my shoes? Oh, no. Okay, I'm over here. My shoes are all the way over there, which means I'm going to have to try to not bump things to get them. After I have this all set up, everything's very tight. There's like tripods everywhere. I posted a behind the scenes clip on Instagram, and that's not even counting the other tripod that I have as well. Okay, I can move you back to where I can see. You've got some avocado skins and pits simmering to dye. Ooh, fun. Okay, so I'll need to set up my plan. There were some questions about how I'm going to be applying this yarn. The fiber is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. I spun the singles this way. So is that S? And then I'm going to be plying them Z. Now I forget what is the right way to do, but you always ply in the opposite way from what you've spun. And so I believe that that's what I've done. I went back and I watched a video. And so I'm like, okay, to make sure that I'm going to be spinning the wheel to the right versus the left. And this is my paranoia. I am double checking one more time for myself.
Have you ever let a project hibernate?
No, I don't want to hear it.
Too long?
Yes, I did that to the left.
I am thrilled that I finally finished spinning.
This is when filming everything has a great purpose. Okay, but how do I get the yarn off the bobbins? Now, the wheel that I'm using, this is a Kromski Fantasia. I adore it. I absolutely adore this wheel. As you can see, it has a very small footprint, which makes it really easy to tuck into a corner. And it has these handy slots down here. Actually, I want to record this. It has these handy slots down here where I can put these in. And then I can add my bobbins on. And so you can see they can spin. And so this is how we will wind the yarn off of the bobbins and onto a new one. Now, I may not be able to fit it all on one bobbin. I don't think, someday I want to get a jumbo flyer. Okay, so the flyer is this piece right here, the one that sort of like flies around the yarn, I think. I am a novice, pretty novice spinner. Like I can do basics, but I'm no expert. So feel free to correct me if I'm saying anything wrong. You can get one of these that is wider around, so then you can then fit more yarn on a bobbin. Now, one thing I do have, which I've never done, I have this contraption. This is a Lazy Kate, and it comes with, like, you basically fit it together, which I'm doing in a very goofy way, but it has these 3 holes in it where you can have 3 spools, 3 bobbins in here. So you can actually make a 3-ply yarn, which I've never done. I would love to do that someday, especially because my wonderful husband bought me this Lazy Kate ages ago, and I've never used it. Ooh, a jaunty wrap. I don't know that pattern. I'm like not up to date on newer patterns. I need to make sure my skirt is under my butt. Okay. I feel like I'm stalling a little bit. I'm nervous. Okay, let's get the 2 ends, which are a little bit wonky. Okay, and this, I don't know if this is proper, but this is the way I always start. I take all the ends and I tie a little knot. Because that is what works for me. And now I already did the break band. Oh, I don't want to do too much twist. But then just like that, I'm plying. And I don't think, oh, this is so pretty. I'm like, am I doing too much twist? I don't know. I may want to go down to the slower whorl, because then I can slow down this process. But I kind of like the density that I'm getting. But you can see it's definitely like, it's probably a bit over twisted. Okay, I don't know if you can see well, but if I take the yarn and sort of bend it, it definitely like twists up on itself, which may mean there's a little too much twist. But, you know, we're not perfect, but I'm liking it. Now, okay, I have the drive band here on this smaller one of the whorls. I'd have to look up the numbers. I could put it up here on the bigger one, which means that for each rotation of the wheel, I would get fewer spins over here. And so the one that you use depends a little bit on you as a spinner and how much twist and things you do. So right now, ooh, this is like, right now, one of my singles feels like it's a little bit thicker than the other, just like a pinch. But I'm kind of just doing this by feel, and I forgot how fast this goes. It's hard for me to know if the difference that I'm feeling here is like in the plies, or if it's just like one of the colors that's more different is standing out to me, you know? I need to get like a, problem is, how do I do it with, I was like, oh, I could film myself doing this, but I can't easily because, oh, ooh, I'm seeing color differences there already, which are really fun. I'm like, how do I do this without, this is definitely like a dense little yarn. I'm probably doing way too much twist. Am I gonna be mad about that? Maybe I should go slower because I'm like treadling like there's no tomorrow. This way I don't feel like I have to move quite as fast. Because clearly I'm liking this cadence with my feet, right? The like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. But I'm curious about the different colors because I'm like looking at it, I'm like, oh, everything feels like very, very like periwinkle right now. But I'm feeling very subtle but different colors in here so far. Ounces. It's squishy and warm. You call mine security blanket. Aww. I have not made a ton of things with my hand spun because whenever I've calculated the yardage, like there have been things that I've spun for projects I wanted to do and I was like, oh, I don't have enough. I was like, I don't think I have enough yardage for whatever it is I want to create. And so that has always been my own struggle when it comes to my own hand spun. I've used it for a lot of hats, and I've also done yarn chicken. Like, I think I have a hat that I called the like cloudy rainbow hat, which is effectively like a pussy hat shape. That square shape, but that was before all those hats went viral and everything. And it was me being like, okay, I want to use all this yarn possible. Okay, I don't have enough to do the hat. Let's add like a cloud at the top. And so that was how I did that. But that was, maybe part of it was not my hand spun, but I used my hand spun in it. So I've used my hand spun in like a handful of hats and things. And I did a whole shawl once out of hand spun silk, I think. But yeah, definitely nervous. This is so relaxing because the nice thing is that unlike the actual plying, I'm unlikely to break anything, but I am noticing how thick and thin my singles are. But you know, this is part of the magic. Like if I could spin the most perfect yarn, I don't think that that's, ooh, this is so pretty. Oh man, I'm gonna take a picture and share it on my Instagram stories and YouTube story or Facebook stories. But the problem is that since YouTube doesn't have stories anymore, I mean, they haven't for a really long time. They haven't for a very, very long time. And so, yeah, that is that. But yeah, I need to figure out how I'm going to film. I was like, can I hold my phone? How can I hold my phone? Can I take a video while I am spinning? Can I move this down? No. Can I try to spin one-handed? And not really. I mean, I got something. It's not. Need to bring some of that twist out. I was like, that's not quite. That's not quite what I wanted. But spinning as an art is so important and ancient. I mean, I guess if you think about it, like all of our clothing that we wear has some, I mean, it's machine spun now. Ooh, that was a very thicker part. That's so pretty. Everything is machine in clothing is machine spun now, but just imagine like what it would take to get the fibers needed to then weave the fabric to make a garment. Like I can't even, I mean, obviously like I've made sweaters. Like it's, oh, is this? No, okay. Before my last stream, I realized that my the wheel itself was a little tilted, so I had to tighten up some screws. The plies will balance each other out. Yes, absolutely. And 3-ply works even better. Oh, I'm sure. The bigger issue and the bigger concern that I had was that one of the bobbin, like I let the, oh my gosh, my twist is definitely not even. That's fine. It's fine. The bigger concern that I had was that since I had stopped spinning in the middle of one of the bobbins, my concern was that my singles would have been like a lot thicker or thinner than they were beforehand. And so that was my big concern. But yes, when you have singles that are not perfect in their diameter, applying it will help even things out, because it's similar to like, think about doing a layered tonal, right? If you apply dye and it is uneven, lighter in some patches, darker in some patches, and then you over dye with another color, you'll get lighter in patches, darker in patches for the second color. The overall tone and saturation of the whole yarn might be more even then. But if you keep doing multiple layers with the same color, eventually things will even out a little bit more. But yeah, I'm excited to try doing a 3-ply yarn at some point. I'm realizing that like with my skirt, you really can't see. I mean, maybe you can see the bobbin spinning a little bit, but ooh, that could be a fun view. Oops, let's not kick things. Let's see. It was like the most awkward little video ever. Oh no. Because I'm like, okay, how can I make the like shorts and things different from what I've done before? Ooh, I'm getting like a nice light patch. But so the fun thing also is that when it comes to the color, when you dye roving, and if you do something that is fairly random like what I had, things blend together a bit when you spin it, right? But then things blend together even more and even out even more as you ply it. I have no idea if this is a cool. Okay, actually that's kind of a cool shot. I was like, oh man, getting aesthetic shots. But if you guys have any questions for me while I'm working, please let me know. I'm here to just hang out. And I know I think one of the last streams I was talking about movies I was very excited to see, and I'm not going to give any spoilers because the movies are so new still, but I will just say I loved the Spider-Man movie. I think it exceeded my expectations, and my expectations were really high to begin with. And so that was wonderful. And I have I feel like within Marvel, like Spider-Man, I know is the most popular superhero in terms of like comic book sales. And so, I mean, it's not surprising, but like, I remember so clearly in high school when the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies came out, and like, I remember going to see it and I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this or if I'm going to like it. And I loved it so much. And then I was so excited for each one as it came out. And so it's really exciting to just have this new generation, and now watch my kids get so excited for it. And so that is so special. But yeah, I don't want to like spoil any of the plot or anything, but like I'm a big crier. And so like I cry when things are happy, I cry when things are sad. And so I think I just had a lot of big feelings. So that was it's big feelings where I would happily watch it again, like in a heartbeat. Like I conceivably, I mean, it would depend on if my brother, so my brother's a manager at a movie theater, and one of his job perks is that he gets a bunch of free tickets. Like he has to go with them, but he can take up to 6 people to see a movie every day. So I don't think I would necessarily want to pay movie theater prices to go see it again, but I would very happily go watch it in theaters again. And so that is cool, which in contrast, because we saw them, gosh, because what? It was a Friday night when we saw The Odyssey. Okay, because it's been about a week and a half since I streamed. Yes, it was a Friday night when we saw The Odyssey, and then it was a Sunday morning we saw Spider-Man. The Odyssey, I don't know how to say it compared to I'd say it probably met my expectations, but I think also the hype was so big that like, I'm glad that I saw it in theaters, and I'm glad that I've seen it. I don't think it has, like, I don't think it's a movie where I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to want to watch this every year. Or like, oh, I'm going to, come back to it and things. And so, but I also thought it was very well done. And the main thing that impressed me about that is knowing that there was no CGI. And so I think that was the things. And I think that the film, because of the scale and like what they were able to do with practical effects, is absolutely incredible. And so it's sort of like hey, we can still do epic adventures without like a ton of bells and whistles. But in contrast, which is funny because there's actors in common, Spider-Man, there were visuals that I just remember being like, oh my gosh. And there were so many moments in it that filled me with just absolute awe in a way that like I didn't necessarily feel. I'm going to take a water break with the Odyssey. I mean, I'd say like one of the early moments, like the first time you see one of the ships on the sea, and you're just like, whoa, like this looks epic. This looks so cool. Like, I'm like, this is just incredible because it's also real. And so that it definitely felt grounded and real. You weren't overly excited about Avengers Doomsday, but now you'll be going. Hi, I'm talking about, so last weekend I saw both Spider-Man, A New Day, and The Odyssey. We had like a Tom Holland weekend. I'm excited. They're re-releasing Endgame in theaters in September. And with that, I think there's going to be 7 new minutes of footage. And because they're going to try to tie, the new footage is to tie Endgame to Avengers Doomsday. And I am very, very excited. I mean, I thought of the TV series, I thought WandaVision was phenomenal. Phenomenal. I'm a huge like Bewitched, like all those classic sitcoms. I'm a huge fan of all of those. I have like most of the series of Bewitched on DVD, I think. Man, I remember like after graduating when it came out on DVD, and like I was beyond excited. And so like that show was amazing. I loved Falcon and the Winter Soldier because of the chemistry between Sam and Bucky. And I think it was a shame in the new Captain American movie and in the new in the Thunderbolts movie that they didn't have those two characters together very much. And I'm hoping we get them together, that like buddy cop duo thing in Doomsday, because I think that the chemistry between the two of them is A+. Like I like romanced the crap out of it, the plot of Falcon and Winter Soldier was not the best, but I also know they had to do a major retcon about it because it was originally going to be about a threat of a pandemic and like about vaccines and like all this stuff. And and I mean, it was released in like early 2021 or late or something. And so they're like, yeah, we can't really use this plot right now with the current environment. That would not go well. And I'm trying to think. Oh, the other one of the Disney Plus shows that there's a couple I haven't seen. Oh, I enjoyed Hawkeye. It wasn't like amazing, but I enjoyed it. It felt very grounded. And I really liked Loki though. And I'm very excited that might be a big part of what's coming. I mean, I think Loki honestly is one of our family's favorite characters. The way that like, we went from with the first Avengers in what was that 2012, where you hated Loki, And I think we had not seen Thor yet when that one came out. Because we weren't that interested in it. But we hated Loki, and now I'm like, oh, Loki's one of my favorite characters. I even have the like Legos from the show. And so that was really exciting. But anyway, I could talk about this a long time. I think Brand New Day has me pumped about what the Marvelverse is going to do. I don't know what other things that are from the Doomsday trailers. The things that I would say that you probably would want to watch would be Loki, Fantastic Four, just to know the characters. Which, like, that one was okay. Fantastic Four. There was something else. I don't remember. But I'm just very, very pumped and want new movies. Loki had an amazing character arc. I think that the fun thing, I saw like a Tom Hiddleston movie that or interview, sorry, where he was like, I'm really glad that Marvel like posted that like clip. They did a clip of a bunch. They didn't reveal every actor that'll be in Doomsday, but of a bunch of actors are. And he was like, I'm really glad they did that because during the like promo for Infinity War, you know, I knew at that point, because I think they'd already filmed it, that I would have a part in Endgame. But I couldn't tell anyone. And so that was, yeah, hard. But yeah, so we've been rewatching the movies. So in advance of Spider-Man, we watched No Way Home again because I wanted to feel all those feels. And actually, I guess we watched it like pretty close to the anniversary of my own mom's death, and so that was hard. But the oh no, there we go, fixed it. This is looking so cool. I'm gonna take another picture. But we realized we didn't have time to watch all of the movies, so we watched Far From Home. And then, like, with the kids, I watched The First Adventures, and that was their favorite movie for a long time, but it had been so long that they saw it, that they'd seen it, so that it was like they watched it for the first time. And that was amazing. The, like, joy and the laughter, the laughter that they had, and that just was unbelievable. And so then we're having fun like rewatching all of these. Supposedly, I guess I don't understand. Supposedly a bunny? But yeah, a bunch of the Spider-Man film was filmed in Scotland. I believe that is true. I think that they made like one of the cities in Scotland look like New York City. They've released some like stuntman shots. Oh no! No, I don't want to start recording. I would like to fix my face. That one. Focus. I turned now I keep my house pretty cold. I don't do well when it's hot, but I made things extra cold in honor of this. If you're just tuning in, we're making some 2-ply yarn. Glasgow. Yeah, I've never been to Scotland, and I'd love to go. I have family that live in London, and at one point before Christmas one year, I mean, that's my husband's family. We did we went to like Bristol and Bath, and but then also went to Wales, which was exciting. Oh, don't forget to give the video a like, everybody. And we went down to Wales, and I don't remember what castle we saw down there. And then I've been to Ireland on a different trip. I think my mother-in-law, like in a charity auction, got someone's like cottage, like a rental of their cottage that was in, it was in Ireland. It was in the northernmost part of Ireland, not Northern Ireland, in North Ireland. And then we did go to Northern Ireland while we were there, and we did a lot of like exploring of the countryside, which was really cool. But of the British Isles, I have not yet been to Scotland. And so it's definitely on my list. But we did, now, I was talking about Marvel. Do you guys know what my other favorite franchise is? Jurassic Park. For many different reasons. But when we went to the south coast of England, we were on Jurassic Coast, and we went and we got to stand in dinosaur footprints. Like there was this quarry that, like, I guess when they were like taking out the stone, they uncovered these like fossilized footprints, and so you can go and stand in them. And I was like, that is epic. And my sister-in-law was awesome for setting that up for us because we love dinosaurs. Love dinosaurs. But yeah, I just really enjoy movies. And the thing is, like, I could do more spinning. I have my loom all pulled out. I just need to like warp it, and then I can make my scarf. Did I show you guys what? No. Well, it's okay if you just stay still. I'll fix it. Oh no, how am I going to get over there? Find myself boxed in. So I thought it would be fun to make a scarf with these. These were from 2022 Spring Mini Skein miniseries. And I was thinking that it would be really, really fun to do, I don't know which one I was going to do for warp and which one for weft. That's what I don't know. So if you have suggestions, let me know. So one is like a neon rainbow yarn mop. And then the other is more of a repeating rainbow. And so that is that plan. Thank you. But now I'm like, oh my gosh, that yarn is from 2022. Because as I was planning out, I'm in the process oh dear. Maybe I made some boo-boos here. I'm in the process of planning out Halloween. Oh no. Whoa! That was goofy, Rebecca. Okay. I'm in the process of planning out Halloween. And I was trying to figure out like what yarn bases to do. I have a few different ideas of what I'd want to do for the colorway, but I need to decide. You'll notice it's a double treadle wheel, but you can do it with just one treadle. I was trying to decide what one of these plies has a lot more twist than the other. I feel like I have a lot less twist in the yarn now than I did before. Maybe things are thicker. Who knows? It's fine. I'm not being consistent, but that's okay. It's handmade. Yeah, so I'm planning Halloween, and I was like, oh, like what yarn bases do I have? What might I need to buy? Like what, what kind of base do I want to do? And so this is not like an official spoiler because I haven't decided, but I was like, oh, when was the last time I used the zebra base for like a bonus colorway? And I think that this is the 2022 was the last time I did. So again, this is not like a promise or anything that that's what it's going to be, but, and if it is, you won't know. I mean, so you can tell if I'm doing neon neps because I would probably say, but you wouldn't necessarily know if I'm doing the zebra base, but maybe I would say. But I'm also planning out Hanukkah, and the hard thing for Hanukkah is that I have an idea of something that I've wanted to do for Hanukkah for years in terms of the packaging. And I almost was going to do it this year, but then I was looking through and I realized I think that if I was going to do that plan, I need to start working on that in January. And so working on it in, oh my gosh, now I'm having a panic that like August is almost gone. Because like Hanukkah is in, wait. Oh man, I'm gonna want to ship in like early November. Okay, Hanukkah and Halloween are probably coming soon. But this idea that I had, I was like, I am close to being able to do it, but I think that I'd need to plan out a little bit better starting earlier in the year just to make sure. Yeah, I think that it's like, it's hard right now. I'm like, okay, I think it'd be hard, and I'd realize too late that I can't quite do it. So I have an idea that would be really epic to do someday. But someday. It always entertains me. Like, I've got this spot right here that is this light blue, and they're kind of pooling, right? And it always amuses me when that happens. Because, these are two things. It's like randomly dyed fiber, differences between the braids. And then when you have like a section that aligns that much. But let's see. The zebra base and secondary colors would be awesome for Halloween. No comment. I mean, I've been enjoying, I think I need to do, like, because I have an idea that would not work on the zebra base. But then I was looking through like the yarn and like what I have, and I was like, oh, but that also could be fun. So yeah, that is what I am thinking through at the moment. And you know what I realized? I half was wondering if we were going to get a special visitor, because a certain puppy is not taken up to the third floor, because normally when I stream, Indy gets very upset or like demanding of attention, and so yeah, I think that that's really funny. Okay, I want to film. I'm gonna hide my face for a moment. You love my rug? Thank you. It's wild. I love it so much. Yeah, right. August just started, but I'm at the point of saying September is almost over. I know. Um, is there a black sparkle yarn out there? No. There are bronze sparkle yarns out there, but they're not that sparkly, and so they're not my favorite. It's like they're very cool, and it adds like a really cool sort of like fleck to it. But yeah. When I hid my face, you almost lost it. Oh, you know why? Thank you for the audio note. This is why. Here. Da 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 da. Okay. I'm going to do an audio check in a moment. Sorry, I didn't notice that. Let me see here. Da 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 da. Okay, that one's working. Da 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 da. But I want to test this one. I'm going to do an audio check. Okay. That is my bad. I did not test all of the audio channels on everything. Sorry about that. Hi from Four Corners. You have a table loom you have no clue about. Ooh, so there are rigid heddle groups, which I think most table looms okay, I guess I don't know if most table looms are rigid heddle, but that's the kind that I have. I have a Cricut rigid heddle loom that someone mailed me when I was like, oh, I'm interested. I was debating like, oh, should I buy a loom? And someone was like, I have one in my closet I'm not using, and they gave it to me. And that was like super generous because I love it. But I need to do another like spinning vlog or weaving vlog. Aw, hi Lizzie the cat. No, I think, yeah, it was so sometimes when I open up my streaming software, the audio gets confused over which microphone it should be using. And so then I have to re-add the audio to the specific webcam. I have to like retell the software like which audio source it should be coming from, which just feels weird. Because right now, I mean, one of the cameras I'm not using at all, but right now there's a camera there. There's a camera here. There's technically a camera on the laptop that I'm not using. There's technically a microphone on the laptop that I'm not using. There's two microphones at these two cameras. And one of them is way better than the other. So there's that. You know what I didn't do? I didn't weigh any of the spindles. I mean, I know that there should be 100 grams of fiber on each one. But wait, am I hearing my puppy? Hey, Andy! Hi! He's like, what are you doing, Mommy? Hello! You're not on camera. Oh, you're a little bit on camera. Hi! Oh, no! I'm sorry. Did you run into the spinning wheel? Okay, well, you can't get... I don't want you to... I'm not spinning you, honey. It's my own fault. I called him over. Hi! Hi, Floofer! Hi! I think your eyesight isn't very good anymore. He ran into the dishwasher this morning because I had it open like 45 degrees. And yeah. Where are you gonna go? Hey. Hi, baby. Well, now you're out of off camera. Do you want your bed? You want to lay down? No, I know you want pets. But see, now you have to... Oh no, you're still off camera. Okay, where are you going to go? Hi. Well, now are you in? Yeah. Hi, Bubba. Hello, floofy boy. Yeah, he's an American Eskimo. I think he's supposed to be a mini, but he's definitely standard sized. He's tall. He's very tall, and he's 15 years old. So his eyesight going, okay, yeah. So I had my dishwasher open at a 45-degree angle, and he's like running by, and he just like smacks into the side of it and looks like, you know, and I was like, I did not do it. I did not touch you. You ran into the door. Hi. Hi. What do you want? Well, I know what you want, but I'm not getting up right now. You happy? You happy, boy? He's like, wait, I'm very confused. Okay, back up. I don't need to bonk the camera. Oh, he's such a good boy. But he's definitely showing his age. Oh. I know I have the camera in like an awkward spot, but I was like, oh. I was like, kiddo, we almost need a puppy cam. Okay, I guess he moved. I can move the camera back. He's just like, what on earth are you doing, Mom? Because it used to be that I would have to take him up, excuse me, sorry, upstairs to like one of his little crates. We used to have to take him up so that way he wouldn't just like be completely underfoot. And like if I'm streaming yarn dyeing, I definitely don't want him in the room. Normally when I'm filming, he's asleep in his bed in the other room, and so then that's just totally fine. But if I was going to stream, then I'd put him upstairs. Yeah, see, I feel like things are thicker now, or maybe I'm just like really adding less twist. I mean, it's pretty, but I feel like it was more balanced before I added a little more twist, but whatever. Oh, he's sleeping right there. At some point, he's going to get annoyed and then leave. But yeah, he's my old man. He's a happy boy. Mostly happy boy. Ooh, I love when there's like a spot where I'm like, oh, it's a little thick and thin. I need to increase the dry band. I also love when I get true barber pulling. But oh yeah, earlier I was talking about like the selection of the dress. So I was like, okay, if I do this one, maybe you can see, and you can kind of see the plies against it. Because I have like a light blue dress that I feel like the color is a little bit too close. And so I'm like, I want it to be very easy for you guys to see. But also I can't use a black dress because then that'll throw the whole white balance off. And so then that will be like really annoying with the camera. I have a lot of black dresses. But otherwise my requirements for these videos is I prefer to use some kind of skirt because then I can like basically have my knees covered, because if I'm wearing shorts then they ride up and I was like, I don't like that. But then I also need to have something that isn't too low cut so that you're not just tearing down my shirt. So those are the requirements that I look for when I'm dressing for these Dying to Spin streams. Now, I prefer to wear dresses anyway, except when I'm filming, I'm usually wearing like an Old Navy tank top and shorts. That's my uniform. And I mean, it's probably one of my uniforms outside of filming too, but yeah, that is definitely like a uniform for me. But today I went outside and I told one of my neighbors, I was like, hey, she's like, oh, I'm like, oh, I'm just going for my morning swim. She's like, oh, you're going to a pool? I'm like, no, the walk. It was so humid. Oh my gosh. It's hard to believe that I dyed this a year ago. Okay, I am going to take a beverage break. I did not secure that well. That is fine. I am going to insert an ad because I've not done one of those yet. And I'm going to go both for water. Because even with, I swear, this is not a good sign. Nope. I'm going to have to pull some of that back. Stay still. Okay, nope. Let's stick my crock under there. Because I tried to make it colder. But it's not happening. Probably because it got hotter outside. So that does not bode great. I want to see. Sorry everyone. I was like, I need to see if oh come on, my fingerprint totally works. Okay. I mean, the compressor is working hard, but it's not at 100%, which is fine. I was like, if the compressor was at 100%, then I was like, okay, then I'll raise the temperature a little bit. So that way it's not working quite so hard. Did I? No, it sounded like Indy was coughing, so I wanted to check. But I want to get some pictures. Oh, I forgot my shoe there is strategic. Oh, I forgot how much I love taking pictures of spinning. What I have not done is brought out the DSLR, which maybe now's the time to do it. It's like another tripod. I do like my tripods though. Okay, let's see. But see, the nice thing is that while my hands are doing something, they're not quite doing as much as they were. Oh, this tripod is not in the best spot, but that's okay. we can start filming this. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Lovely squeaking. Thanks, wheel. I do have like an oil that I can use. Okay, I want to get a different angle here though. Let's see. What about weaving with some chenille yarn? Ooh, that sounds pretty. I think I would love to weave with a lot of different, oh, actually, you know where I can put this? Right there. I would love weaving with a bunch of different types of yarns. I think that, what my goal is, because I have not woven very much. I've done some, but not a ton. I haven't done very much weaving with my own hand spun, not hand spun, even though there is a project I would love to do as well, but I haven't done very much weaving with my hand dyed yarn. I've done some coasters. That's about it. Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. I misread the question. I was like, thought about me. I'm trying to weave with chenille yarn. Bad idea or terrible idea? I think that it can be a fine idea. And actually, oh, I have a story about that. So, okay, but I'm not going to try to go get the blanket. So as a kid, my so a family in our synagogue owned like a weaving house or something. They owned like a weaving company, studio. And they made these woven chenille blankets. And they were, I think, testing out a new one, and they wanted to know if like how it would hold up with use. So basically they gave me a blanket to sleep with, like a throw blanket. And basically like I abused it, and you could see that like it pulled, and like they used me for market research. And then they gave me another blanket, which, I mean, at this point, this blanket is probably like, it's got to be at least 30 years old. Oh my gosh. And so because it is so old, can I get even more top down? Because it is so old, it probably is not in pristine shape anymore. But yeah, I tested a product. I was like, wait, you want to give me a super, super soft blanket? Yeah? Yes, please. But I could see the blanket right there. And they were very nice. I have some spools. They gave me some remnant yarns that I never used on anything. And I think I still have in like one of my bags. I have some spools. So, why do I feel like this is overexposed? Maybe not. One more little clip for they probably had like super legit like looms. When I weave, I have a Cricut rigid heddle loom. There are a few videos on the channel about it. I have a few vlogs. that you can check out. Oh, and if anyone's ever curious about my camera, which I do think I linked these below, this is a Canon EOS 90D. I also have the 70 and the 80. I don't think they're going to ever do 100, which is a shame because I really like it as a camera. But now that I'm moving the camera, I was like, I didn't want to squeak by the fancy camera and knock it over. And so this is my, oh my gosh, there's like indie fur in it. Ugh. The fringe has lost like almost all the chenille-ness to it, but this is probably my 30-year-old blanket that was after I product tested. And actually, it has held up really well. The ones that I tested, this one has a little bit here where like there's a snag. You can, there we go. You can kind of see that at this edge, it's like pulled. And so there's like these snags here. This is not the one I tested, but again, this is so old that I think that these defects are the result probably of my children and conceivably could be fixed. Because there's a few pulls on the interior of it now as well. But it's funny, there's definitely some, here's like a pull in the middle. And so therefore that probably caused one of the problems down at the end. But yeah, it's probably 30 years old. Is there a tag? It says Rose. And this was made in 1995. So there we go. Yeah, so that's not the one, and I kept the one that I product tested for a while. That's not the one that I product tested, and so it's in remarkable shape for being as old as it is. Some unintentional smocking at the edges, yes. And I forget, I think my loom is like the smallest. Well, maybe not the absolute smallest, but it's pretty small. Yeah. Oh, it's super drapey. It's really, really nice. I have no idea if that company is still in business or what the official like brand name was. But it's fun that my kids love it so much. Yeah, because maybe they were testing out a different type of warp or something. Like at the time, I didn't know what they were testing, but now as like an adult, I'm like, huh, maybe they were testing like using a different fiber content or something. 30? Mine's a 30-inch? No. You've seen people do Wild Things warp dyeing on a Cricut loom? Yes, I would love, and I don't know if one of my super long hanks is long enough. It might be, actually, because if I cut it in half to use that as the warp. Versus using the length, because like a 6-meter skein. Oh yeah, wait, what am I talking about? That's totally long enough. In half, it's like taller than me. Yeah. Because it might be too long. That's the thing. And so I would love to dye my own warp for a project. Now, I do have a heddle, I think, that can do like fingering weight, but mostly I've been doing like DK worsted on it so far. Yeah, oh, 30 years, yeah. I was not born in 95. Wait, how old am I about to be? I'm 42. I'm only 42. I always get confused though because I was born in 83. And so because I was born in 83, but my birthday's in December, I always get confused. And so there was one year, it certainly wasn't when I was turning 40, but maybe it was like when I was turning 41 or 42. Like in my head, I had already added a year. And so then I was confused about how old I was turning, which was silly. Oh, so silly. Okay, dog mom, duty calls. All right, I am going to be right back. I'll probably leave this all on, but I'll insert an ad and go deal with my doggo. Hopefully this won't unspin itself too much. I'll be back in a couple minutes. Hey, Mama. You want to go outside? Okay. Good boy. Come on, honey. Go back inside. Okay, Indy. Um. Okay. Do you need a cookie? Cookie and good boy. Oh. Do you want to? I know. You're so excited. You want to show the nice people? No, hold on. Oh no, that's not it. I want my face. I know, you're going to be a very good boy. You being a good boy. Come here. Sit. Good boy. Will you do it? Probably not. Steady. Steady. Okay. I can't. Oh, go that way. Go that way. No, go. Take it. You're like, I'm gonna spin. I'm gonna back up and spin right here. Oh man. Do. Let's see what I missed. Oh, I'm seeing him. He's like too overexposed, my little white floofer with his greenie. There's a video where she and a colleague dressed the loom, detached the reed, and then stretched the warp on the loom across a long table to paint patterns directly on the warp. Ooh, I could do... So warp the loom first. Because I think I would be more inclined to dye the warp as like the long hank and then warp the loom and let it be, I mean, it wouldn't be perfect, but sort of stagger the colors a little bit, you know, have the, it could basically be like messy stripes. I think that is what I would try because I would be nervous about getting parts of the loom wet. But I think that it's probably about, because like if I have the super long hank or I make my own super long skein, and then like I have the capability to deal with that because I have the like, I can use the super big nitty knotty. But that would be fun. Hey Bubba, it's all gone now. It's all gone. Hi. What do you need? Hi, I know you miss Daddy. Okay, why don't you go to your bed? Go. Go. I know. I love you. He's like, but mommy, you gave me treat. And therefore I demand more tribute. Okay. I am seated way too far away. Let's fix this, whatever I had going on. Okay. I can't figure out how to do this. Okay. Fine. It's going to stay the same. I was like, I need to move the stool forward. But I was like, I can't figure out how to like scooch the stool and keep my foot kind of like up like this because I can't put my weight on that foot, which I think is hilarious. I have dyed Puppy Floof. I don't think I've spun it more than like, you know, taking like just like hand spinning. I've made like yarn out of it. I think to actually spin it, because his staple length is only a couple of inches. We do have bags of fiber that we've saved like post bath, like a brushing after a bath, and we'll save it in like plastic bags because it's so soft. I think at some point I might do something with it, but I would probably want to blend it with something because it is like 2 inches. Like it would be really hard, I think, for me to spin it on my own. I'm realizing if I have this behind me, then I can't see it. Okay, how we doing? Ooh, there's like a good teal section right there. What about you? You're also looking really nice. It's so hard to know, like, especially because this is why I was like, oh, I should have weighed them first. Because I know I probably have at least one more empty bobbin. But I'm just so curious, like, how much is left. Because I guess I have to remember because I was like, oh, it looks like, you know, the bobbins are like over half empty, but the bobbins were not completely full when I started. And so that's what I have to remember is that they're not completely full. But yeah, one of my April Fool's Day videos one year was about the like green fluorescent puppy, but I made, instead of having the joke, I didn't want the joke to take the joke too far and have someone think I was actually gonna like dye the dog with fluorescent dyes, because obviously I would not do that. But we attempted to make a felted indie that did not go well. Like his fiber didn't, I mean, it was out of his fur, so I did dye his fur, but it did not felt well. So that did not work. Now, I'm definitely not going to bring out a second bobbin today. And yeah, I don't know how much longer I will actually stream. But I will probably do, I mean, this is something I can so easily do off camera while watching a movie with the family. So I might do a lot of plying off camera. I just wish I could get this view of my hands, which maybe I can just get a picture. When I used to film, yep, my GFP, when I used to film knitting tutorials, the way I would do it is I had this like gorilla tripod, like a flexi tripod thing. And in the way early videos, I would use like a little Canon PowerShot. And I would have it attached like of the 3 tripod legs. I would have one like down my shirt and then the other 2 sort of like over my shoulder a little bit to have it like to really have a point of view. The problem is that it would literally block my view. So I could, you know, if I'm holding whatever I was doing to knit right here, like I could only watch myself on the camera versus do it. Some of the more recent videos I've done, I would do over on the coffee table with like the camera with a zoom lens over my shoulder. And so then that worked pretty well. I just think for spinning, like when I can't see, it's hard when it's behind you because you can't see what you're capturing. And that can be tricky. But yeah, it's looking very, very pretty. Ooh, I love that we see some of the greens and the pinks and everything right here. And then it's like the inception, like camera and camera and camera and camera. Do 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 do. It's like, you know, I get tired when I start singing, but I had some sushi for lunch, which I'm very excited about. Even though my favorite, okay, so I don't know if any of you are from the like greater Boston area, but I have had 2 of my favorite restaurants that have significance for my family close this year. One was really unexpected, Golden Temple, which is it's on Calm in Brookline. They're like, I've been going there since I was like a kid. And it was like our favorite spot to get delivery, like my grandfather's favorite. We've done and sometimes when like no one wanted to cook, we've done like break fasts there. Like it was a place where like they're, as a kid, like their chicken fingers. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. And just like years of like it being a favorite takeout thing with my mom, but they closed. And that one I guess is sad. They closed like suddenly, like no announcement. And I think that what happened was that there's like like there were disputes over how to run it, and then I think that they decided to close the doors, and I guess it's been in court and like all kinds of stuff. And so that's just sad that a restaurant that had been around for 60 years closed. And so that made us super, super sad. Now there's a place near us that Keith and I discovered has scorpion bowls. And so we like to go there sometimes for like a date night. And like their appetizers are really good because it's like super fresh out of the fryer, but the rest of the food is okay. And so yeah, yeah. So I'm like, we have to just find like a new Chinese place that we love when we want takeout. Which I mean, there's tons of places to try. So that was sad. But the other thing was my favorite. Now, this isn't a favorite like takeout place or regular place, but for the restaurant where I had my 30th birthday and my 40th birthday, we had tons of. We've gone there for Valentine's Days before were even engaged. Oishi, which is in like Seaport area of Boston, they actually started as a small place in Newton. So we would get takeout from it with my parents until they closed that location because I think that building was torn down. But you know, it was incredible, and we were just there actually for my dad's birthday in February, and so they didn't close with no notice, but we didn't notice until we tried to make a reservation for a couple weeks ago. And so I'm very sad because it was like, you know, my favorite appetizer was salmon on fire. Like it would come out like with flame. It was so fun, like very, very expensive, but like super fancy. And so, yeah, they closed and I'm heartbroken. But anyway, oh, yes, please ask very nerdy questions. Otherwise, I'm just going to talk about sushi. How do union dyes work as opposed to acid dyes and fiber reactive dyes? That is a great question and one I am not qualified to answer. Because union dyes and direct dyes are ultimately, they work by having some kind of interaction, right, between the dyes and the fiber. And so what I can talk about are the dye types that I use a lot. So acid dyes work with having basically kind of a charged interaction. This is me being not very scientific. They interact with hydrogen bonding, basically. But think of it like kind of like magnets, right? Where, you know, you have positive and negatives and then they kind of interact and stick together. It's not at all like magnets, but I did it. You know, think of that, but then you can pull it apart. Acid dyes interact in a way where they get a really strong interaction between the dye and the fiber, and you have to do this in acidic conditions, so that way things are protonated. But you get that really strong interaction between the dye and the fiber, but it can technically be reversed. It's not permanent, which is why, like, if you wouldn't be able to get all the dye out, but if you were to wash it in water that had a very high pH, so a very alkaline solution, you might then see some bleeding. And so some of the interactions that aren't quite as strong, you might come out. Whereas fiber reactive dyes on cotton, which you do in very high pH and alkaline situations, you form a covalent bond between the dye and the cotton and plant fiber. So this is more of a like super glue. Like you're not undoing it. It becomes like the dye then becomes part of the same molecule as the fiber. And so it is permanent. It is unbreakable. You could do really hot water. Like you're not going to undo that. Now, the reaction that happens also can happen with water. So this is why when you're setting up like a one-step dye, you want to use it like pretty quickly, because the longer the dye sits, the less of the dye you'll be able to use to dye the fibers. And so then the more rinsing you'll have to do. Which is why a lot of people will make their dye stocks with fiber reactive dyes and add soda ash onto the fabric or the yarn versus mixing it in with the dyes, because then the dyes don't go bad as fast. And you can use fiber reactive dyes as acid dyes, but not all acid dyes are fiber reactive dyes. Now, direct dyes and union dyes, I don't know a ton. I think that the molecules tend to be even bigger. And well, let's look this up. Yeah, so the union dyes, like, they kind of sit or absorb into the fiber, but they don't really form a super strong bond, which is why, like, I feel like salt can help with the like uptake, but I don't quote me on that. Um, I think that if you're using union dyes like RIT with acid, then they're basically functioning as an acid dye. But I think that the interaction is still not as strong as like a commercial acid dye, is my impression. Because, yeah, they'll fade more um, with washing. So this isn't the best answer, but I think that like the nice thing about RIT, which was RIT was one of the first dyes, more commercial dyes. Not that I would necessarily, RIT was one of the first non-food dyes besides like tulip tie-dye that I tried. And I was pretty intimidated by it, but the thing that I liked was that you could buy it in liquid form, which made it feel very user-friendly. Now, when using RIT dyes, you still want to use dedicated dye equipment. You don't want to use cooking pots and pans, just because it's not food safe, right? And so I try to advise very accurate, like, food safeness. You rely on thrifted or gifted dye stuffs a lot. Oh, cool. And so you got some dyes to play with. Yeah. So I think that like if you're making something that gets washed a lot, like if you're gonna over dye like blue jeans or a cotton shirt, like we had success. I tie-dyed some cotton shirts for a video, and like the dye there lasted pretty well, and so I didn't notice like a huge problem. And actually I used some excuse me, recently. Maybe we needed a brown t-shirt. And so because Ryder was going to be a grass block, for Halloween. And so we wanted a brown shirt to then add some like grass like squares along the top. Super adorable. But we couldn't find a brown t-shirt. And so then we just bought like some brown RIT, because I have a lot of colors of fiber reactive dyes, but I don't have brown. Maybe and I don't know if I have the need to like buy one either. Ooh, my brain is going like a mile a minute, but I think, yeah, I mean, I've dyed some like wool yarn with RIT, and I've thought it's very pretty, but I think I prefer the color range of acid dyes. But if you have it, go for it, right? Oops. Oh, speaking of dyes and dyeing, one thing I'm hoping to do next spring for Teacher Appreciation Week is I would like to offer a like tie-dyeing, like team building exercise or something for all the teachers and staff at my kids' school. And the only thing about this is that is at all intimidating is trying to figure out how much stuff I need for about 100 people. But because the other issue is that in all reality, it's probably going to be closer to 50. Because like not everyone may show up. And so, yeah, but I've already talked with the school principal and the art teacher, and they both think that it would be really, really awesome. I just have to think about the like logistics of how to best set it up and when to set it up. And so that is stuff that I need to figure out. I'm like, okay, how much soda ash do I need? How much, like the gloves and the rubber bands, like that's all stuff I can calculate. But yeah, I think that it would be really, really fun. So would union dyes be more or less durable than food coloring? Ooh. Whew, that's a hard one. Because in truth, I don't know the answer there. I mean, I have things that I dyed with food coloring over a decade ago that are still very vibrant. Now, I don't wash them very much. I think that it depends on what you're dyeing. Like I have a hat that I dyed with acid dyes that has some fading. Like the fluorescent pink pigment I use has faded on the outside compared to the inside of the hat. Because I wear it all the time. And that was a commercial acid dye. So some pigments will fade, especially when wet for whatever reason. And with a winter hat, I'm outside in the snow, it gets wet a lot. But I try to be careful and store things like not on the windowsill, right? But what was I going to say? So I don't know how it would compare it to food coloring, because if you're dyeing wools, sorry, I don't have a great answer. But it depends, like, on the pigment itself, but also on the like the dye type, but also the dye color specifically. Because with food coloring, also red 3 is not very, which I mean is not food safe anymore. But red 3 is not very light fast. And so therefore, because red 3 is not super light fast, it is more likely to fade if you leave it out in the sun for a long period of time, versus some of the other colors. And so I think it depends on, yeah. It can depend on the color itself as well. This is so fun. I wish it would be hard to do because I don't know how I would get another tripod in. I wish I could have like a macro camera. Actually, I would need to do a macro camera. There's bound to be a way that I can set up. There's something I think I can plug into the DSLR. So that way I can get the camera and some software so that way I could bring it in. So then, because I could have it over there and zoom in and give you guys like a real good close-up of this, right? But I don't know about my abilities to actually set that up. I wish I knew, because the thing is like the thinner the bobbins get, the closer I am to the end. And I know eventually I'm going to try to fill this bobbin as much as I can. But yeah. Oh, I can't see it depends is a good answer. It's true and accurate. I try. It's funny. It's like the scientist in me that I can't say anything like definitive a lot of the time. Oh no. No. I was like, it's like, well, it's likely or whatever. Oh man. Now, I know that some of you have been around a long time, but if you're newer and watching, hi, thank you. I'm Rebecca from ChemKnits. It's the name ChemKnits came from the fact that I was a biochemistry graduate student when I started the blog. And I started ChemKnits as sort of like a lab notebook to keep track of my research and knitting adventures and things like that. Because before then I made actually like, I don't remember the software, but I made a database. This was like pre-Ravelry. I made a database where within it I could add a PDF of a file, and I made it so that way I could keep all my notes. But then I realized like, oh, some of these notes and things that I'm keeping could be useful for someone else to see. And so then I started the blog. And if Ravelry had existed back then, because I remember when Ravelry was like invite only or something, like not everyone could join. And so I forget when I actually joined it, but I remember talking about it with my baymate, who was an awesome postdoc, who was also a big knitter. But yeah, I think if that had existed before I thought to do this, then none of this world of ChemKnits would exist. Because I only made videos because I was like, oh, after reading a book, I was like, okay, I like this knit one below technique. And also my sister-in-law had some questions, and so I made some videos on how to do it to go along with like a pattern that I had designed. And then All Free Knitting like was like, hey, we'll pay you to make some videos, or like to license. Basically, they paid me to license my videos. And the contract, which I still have somewhere, says that the videos have to be published on my channel and on their channel. And so, yeah, I have a right to keep those as my own. But yeah, that's just fun, and how like I started trying to make more videos, and I started filming some of my dyeing videos for that reason. And yeah, and then eventually I stopped working with them because it hit a point when they were like, hey, because of the way YouTube was changing, they wanted exclusive like access to the videos. And I forget if I was monetized on YouTube at that point or not. Maybe I was monetized just a little bit, and I couldn't think about a dollar amount. So I'm like, what's the value of the lifetime of a video? Like some of those older videos, I mean, there's a lot of metrics I can't share, but they changed the way some of the things work. Okay, let's do my oldest video. Hee. Because, I have some super old videos that made, less than $10, right? And then I have some videos that, some of these videos have made over 100. I have one video that has made, it's well over 1 million views now. That's my how to make one stitch. That's from April 2011. But that one's made like a lot over the years. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that what I was getting paid, it's so long. I was getting paid, I think if the videos needed to be between like 2 and 5 minutes. If it was under 3 minutes, then I would get $10. If it was between 3 and 5 minutes, I'd get $15. That's how much I was being paid to license it. And so it's just like at the time I was like, I don't know how much any of these videos could make. Um, I will say that now, like, I mean, those are videos that are what, 15 years old. And so then that's the like revenue of it. Like these days, um, you know, it's like we're not supposed to like I don't make enough from just like YouTube ad revenue to pay for like everything that I do, right? The biggest source of my revenue comes from the biggest source of revenue comes from the Etsy shop, selling the yarn that I dye, and I have my shop linked. It's ChemKnits Creations. I haven't linked both in the video description from here, but it's also pinned in the chat. And so that is like where like I make most of my income for sure. I used to make a lot more with like affiliate links and stuff. I don't make quite like nearly as much as I used to anymore. But I think maybe I wonder if it's because I don't buy as much randomly throughout the year anymore, so I don't do as many unboxings. Which isn't, and I think it's also I stopped doing as many unboxings because I'll stock up with much bigger orders from Knit Picks when I need it. But also, yeah, I guess I stopped doing unboxings as live streams anyway. And so that's probably what encouraged more people to go and check out for affiliate revenue. So that is a source. I get a tiny amount from like direct sponsorships. But yeah, mostly it's the shop. Oh, wait, here's a question about overdying. When overdying, have you run across any effects coming from the previous type of dye used on the fiber? For example, if I use a color I only have as a union dye and then put in resist and did an acid dye. I think that should probably be okay. Because the way union dyes are going to bind to wool will be them acting as an acid dye. Now, what I don't know is like if the size of the molecules or something. I'm not sure how well like it might take it up, but I don't foresee an issue with that. I have had yarns I've tried to over dye, and the issue that I've come across is I'm like, okay, I want to over dye this particular yarn with food coloring, and then there's some that have enough pigment in there that the food coloring just doesn't make an impact. And that it won't absorb very much dye because it's saturated with colors already. So that is I guess, the concern. But yeah, thank you for enjoying my stream of consciousness. And if you're enjoying this, please give the video a thumbs up. That is by far the biggest thing that you can do to help support all the content here. Yeah, I genuinely love just playing around with yarn and fiber. Oh man. I'm like, la la la, I'm just watching the spinning. I would love, see, you know what I need? I need someone else to spin so then I can film. That's what I need to do. Oh, I love, and this is the fun with doing live streams versus just doing like a behind the scenes vlog or something. I love being able to answer questions and share my experience and things like that. I'm trying to think if there's a short or something I may want to film. Because I'm like, oh, it'd be really easy to film something now as I'm plying, but I think I'll just get some B-roll. Oh, but I have to press and I see the audio is working this time. Start recording. But yeah, I don't know off the top of my head if there was something I wanted to say or if there's like a question I wanted to answer. But I'll get like, I should have started like timing this. I'll just try to get a minute or two and then maybe I could, because like I could do a real time something or other. But I could do a voiceover. Actually, I have a different idea. Okay, Rebecca, this will be a short, but I'll probably have to mess up my audio a few times because I haven't decided exactly what I want to say. I am so excited to be spinning again, and I really like listening to, yes, sometimes the squeaks of my wheel, but the little subtle like hum and whirl of the treadle and everything. I'm using a Kromski Fantasia, and right now I'm plying some singles of some dyed hand spun yarn that I got to move that down, of some hand dyed hand spun fiber that I created, and eventually we'll be editing into a video. Oh gosh, Rebecca, I don't like where that went yet. We're gonna try this again. It's like Rebecca is awkward on camera. Okay, Rebecca, this is for a short, I believe. I really enjoy the sounds my spinning wheel makes. And I think that I can appreciate it more when I'm plying my singles together. I'm spinning up a 2-ply yarn of some hand-dyed, hand-spun fiber. And yeah, just the sound is really soothing. And I really, really enjoy it. And cool. I'm like, especially if that's the last clip that I film, then, oh, I can bring my face back. If that's the last clip, ooh, I know. Hey, Rebecca. Now that you see the face here, the last clip I filmed was a short, eventually. So that should be a pretty easy one. I leave myself audio notes in my videos all the time. That's often how I deal with it. I'll leave audio notes, but I'm not necessarily going to be checking the audio of all the spinning footage, so we'll see. I've been thinking, excuse me, of doing a weave then dye project using different fiber types to control where the dye uptakes. That would be really cool. The one thing I would caution is that if you are using, well, that was goofy. I just dropped my nearly empty Pepsi bottle on the ground. If you weave like a completely different yarns for the warp and the weft, when you wet it to dye it and apply heat, they may shift or do things that are funky. And so I would recommend doing a little test swatch first, to then, like, you don't have to dye that yet, but you can do like a little like coaster size thing to just see how the fibers might behave. Or honestly, knit a swatch with one fiber and the other fiber, maybe alternating rows, and then treat that as you might a dyeing project to just see how the two yarns behave and if there's like a big shift. That might be easier than like doing a whole woven sample. Although I suppose you could do a woven sample on like you could make like a little cardboard loom. But I also don't have a ton of experience there. Okay. I think I am about at my limit for what I can do sitting on this stool. My back injury is way better. But this beautiful stool I'm sitting on is not the most comfortable thing. But I would say, you know, we have used most of the yarn. We might fit everything on this bobbin. It's going to be pretty close. Pretty darn close. Oh, come on. Stay just wrapped around, please. Don't do any goofy nonsense. Oh my gosh. And hilariously, when my body's like, okay, I'm ready for a break, and we're at about the 2-hour mark. So again, I don't know if we're going to do another Plying stream, which is kind of sad. I suppose, you know, to see this project all the way through, I could do a little stream of me taking this off of the bobbins and winding it onto a niddy noddy to just keep everything going, right? Every part of the process. But I think I may do more spinning off camera, just of the plying. And then it's possible, the other thing that could bring me back is if, depending on how much is left, like one bobbin seems to have more yardage than the other. And so depending on how much is left when I finish, I don't know if there'll be enough to do like a mini stream of me figuring out what to do. Like ideally I'd like to, whatever is left over, I would like to do more 2-ply. So that way I can get as much yardage of this as possible. But I don't know if that's going to be possible. It depends on how much is there. But sometimes what I would do if there's a little bit left over is like wind it into a yarn cake and then ply from the inside and outside of the yarn cake. And so that is an option for any leftovers. But it depends on, like, if there's only a tiny bit left, then I might chain ply it. I don't know. I haven't decided exactly what I would do there. It also depends on, yeah, how much, like if I fit everything on one bobbin or not. Because like if I'm really at the end struggling to get whatever left onto this bobbin right here, and there's not very much left, then yeah, I think that depends. Versus if I hit the end and I have to start a second bobbin of the 2-ply and it's not that full, and then I have whatever is left in one bobbin, I could try to do the 2 ends and then continue with the yarn that I already have. So I think that there's options. So I'll just have to think about that. But yeah, this was really, really fun. Ooh. Unfortunately, I won't be done with work though. Because I'll tell you guys, I mean, this is something that, I think I gave all ChemKnits patrons advance notice when it's only supposed to be wool. I think I made a boo-boo there. But I am going to do a shop update today. And included in that update, we've got some, oh my gosh, it's so overexposed. Okay, we've got some neon rainbow sock blanks, some that are unraveled, some that aren't. But we also will have some roving. which I'm not taking out of the baggies. And then there's some other yarn as well. This I dyed on stream a bit ago. This was featured in a recent episode of Die Cut Weekly. We've got the like snow dyed fiber. So, this is a very fun, bulky speckled one. And so that's, it's like, oh, I can dye some yarn later, but I'm gonna have to work on prepping that shop update. That's what I have to do this afternoon because, yeah, but there will be, so you can follow me on Patreon for free. And the post will go public when the shop update happens. So I can't see. I need my iPad. I was like, it's just like anything else, I could change the text, but it's small text anyway. When you have uneven bobbins, you usually just pull the extra off and ply it from the beginning of the longer bobbin. Okay. It only works if it's not too much of a difference and you wouldn't want a puppy underfoot. Oh, of course not. Of course not. But anyway, thank you guys so much for being here today. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm tired now. Oh man. Oh, I'm tired, but this is so much fun. I really am glad that you guys wanted me to do more spinning live streams. And so I don't know if this is the last live stream of this beautiful yarn that I'm making. And so if it is the last stream, it's not the end of the yarn because I will be editing a whole episode of, it won't be Die Pot Weekly, but I'll be editing a whole edited video that won't have tons of clips from the live streams of me spinning, but it's going to showcase the dyeing of the yarn. Maybe it'll be Die Pot Weekly, the dyeing of the fiber, and then what the finished spun yarn looks like, all in one video, with potentially some clips of like other things along the way. Yes, oftentimes if I just have like one left, I will end ply it. But then it depends on like if it's only a tiny amount or what, you know. And so that I just don't know what I'm gonna want to do. But I guess we'll see when we get there because things feel uneven right now. But at least I know I started with the same amount of fiber on each ply. So there's that. That's a win. Ply bobbin monthly. Semi-annual, like, or like, wait, what would it be like once every like 3 years? No, but we can then like, we'll talk and you guys can let me know in the comments and things like if you want me to do more, because then we could start a whole other Dying to Spin series, which I would have its own playlist. You know, I wouldn't continue adding to this one. I would start, because I think I called this one like 2025 Dying to Spin because I thought it would finish it all that year. But we could start I mean, honestly, it would probably be 2027 Dying to Spin series. At this point, we're about to like dive. I'm going to be diving into Hanukkah prep real soon. I'm about to like place like a massive yarn order. And so then I'll start going, I guess. I'm very, very excited. I have some really fun colors planned. But anyway, I am Rebecca from ChemKnits. Please subscribe, do all the YouTube-y things that helps the channel grow. And yeah, and if you love like what I do and you want to also support me across the internet, I have links to like all the places you can find me across social media in the description, in addition to my Patreon and Etsy shop. And so, yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll chat with you all soon. Bye! Of course, I moved the mouse over here, so I have to do the awkward lean. But thank you so much!